Hey everyone, my name's Chey Bird and I'm the newly appointed head coach for Cairns Brothers Rugby League Football Club. Just to give you a little bit of a background on myself, I was born and raised down in Redcliffe, down in Brisbane. I spent the first 18, 19 years of my life down there before being posted to Townsville, where I spent the next 8 years. I was fortunate enough to play for Townsville Brothers and very fortunate in captaining a couple of premiership winning sides there before I then got an invite to come up to Cairns to be a part of the inaugural Northern Pride team for 2008. Played the next 5 seasons with the Pride. Very lucky to have won a state league grand final with those guys and play under some very quality coaches in my time there, where I've sort of picked up a few tricks of the trade, and I'm now fortunate enough to put into practice a pretty lifelong ambition, and that's to coach seniors rugby league. So preparations for the 2014 season kicked off back in November of last year, where we had about 4 weeks worth of training, about 8 sessions. We had a pretty good roll-up too for that time of year. It's the first time the club's begun their pre-season prior to Christmas, so I was very happy to see the number of guys getting down there, and not just the number of guys but also the quality of the guys that were getting down to those sessions as well. Obviously the guys got away for the Christmas New Year break, and we've been training back in earnest now since the 7th of January, and the numbers have been very pleasing. Last night we had a pretty massive roll-up. We had 65 guys at training, with a number of guys still away with work, so that bodes pretty well for our numbers as we start getting into the trial period as of next week. Added to that, no towel, no gym. No gym means you're not completing full sessions, means that your selection that week's in jeopardy. Right? So be professional. As I mentioned, the quality of players that have been running around at training has been fantastic, and what we have got this year is a whole lot of depth to our squad. We haven't gone out looking for any players. We haven't been looking to improve too much on the roster from last year, because at the end of the day the roster was at a fair level. So what we've been fortunate enough to do though is attract a couple of guys who are keen to come across. And one of those guys that we did actively seek out though was my Pele Morshu from down in Brisbane, originally from Upper Bardu Island. He's trying to get his knee right at the moment, but once he's firing on all cylinders, he's going to be a fantastic asset to the club. We've also attracted a young guy from down at Bega who played SG ball with the Canberra Raiders last year, young Lachlan Carey. He looks a pretty likely type, and I'm very interested to see how he goes once we get into the games. Again, we've got a number of guys who are a part of Northern Pride under 20s or a part of the Melbourne Ingram and Cyril Connell's sides, so we'll be looking for some big things out of those young fellas as well. And so added to those couple of new faces, we've got plenty of other new faces as well. A lot of guys such as Masi Nona and a few other lads who are keen to show their wares, but they're all there to complement the guys who have been there and done it before as well. When you've got the likes of Ben Groves, James Dooler, Chris O'Farrell, Big Luke Badge and Big Pete Fa'afetu, I think the club's in great hands across all the grades. And then when we have a look at some of our under 18s, we've got some real young guns there with Lockie Parmenter, Nathan Trail, Di Saab and Teddy Kepper and the likes of those guys there. So it's a really exciting opportunity for the club to progress forward, and really looking forward to a really successful season. And with a couple of brothers juniors returning back to the fold, the likes of Daniel Mooka, PJ Webb back from the Cowboys under 20s, and Eddie Daniel, who's got probably the best kicking game I've ever seen, it holds us in good stead. With our training facilities, we've had a fantastic addition during the off-season as well. The club's spent close to $20,000 on some fantastic new gym equipment, so we'll be looking to use that pretty well every session to try and get our guys a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger in preparation for their 2014 assault. The trial periods, as I just mentioned, we've got a trial actually against the Northern Pride under 20s. Kicks off on Saturday week on February 1. and we'll follow on from the Northern Pride versus the Cowboys under-20s game. That'll kick off at 4 o'clock, where we'll then take on the Pride 20s at 6 o'clock at Stan Williams Park. So looking forward to that one. We've then got about a 2-week break before we head over to take on Innisfail again at Stan Williams Park, and we'll play Innisfail Leprechauns in all 3 grades, which will be a fantastic opportunity for a lot of local league lovers to see the likes of former NRL players Ty Williams and Rod Jensen get around on the paddock, which will be a highlight for everyone. Following that, to close out our trial period, we're actually going to travel down to Townsville, where we'll take on Townsville Brothers. Again, that should be in all 3 grades as well. That'll round out our preparations, and we'll be then battening down the hatches to prepare for our round 1 clash with Kangaroos, the reigning CDRL premiers.